They're the games you chose to shun, but damn it, boys, these games are fun. Mama told you never to judge a book by its cover, and she was right. Get ready for the most underrated games of all time right here, right now on Filter. Hello, I'm Diane Mizota, and welcome to Filter, a hand-picked top 10 video game countdown as voted on by you, the viewer, at G4TV.com. How many times have you waited on edge for a well-hyped game or a big-time sequel to come out? You'll wait for months, perhaps even years, racked with anticipation until release day. But how about those games that slip under the radar, doomed to live out their days on a store shelf instead of a cozy living room? Well, the truth is, you may not wait in line to buy them, but at the end of the day, they're some of the best games around. That's why today's show is dedicated to covering the most underrated games of all time. So what exactly qualifies a game as being underrated, and what are a few that have fallen through the cracks? Here's what you guys think.
Underrated usually means that not a lot of people paid attention to the game, or people who were supposed to review the game looked at it and didn't get it.
I think underrated generally means to most people that, it's a great game and no one's heard of it and no one's playing it.
Underrated means a game that's not very popular, a hidden gem, basically, that only you and maybe a couple of your friends know about.
A game that is underrated is a game that's not appreciated by the public, that has a cult following, doesn't have as much to do with sales.
I would say marketing. I mean, a lot of times it comes down to how big the marketing budget is for these games. I don't know if that's what you want to hear, but that's the reality of it.
Because then, when no one responds to it, then the people who made the game think, well, that type of game making, that brand of game making doesn't work. So back to the drawing board. It's unfortunate because now we don't see a sequel for the game coming.
On the heels of that, it's time to rate the underrated. We start the countdown at number 10 with a rhythm game that grooves to a very different beat. In Gitaroo Man, you were a social reject with a jelly bean-headed dog for a best friend. Your job was to defend the universe from the forces of evil by using your Gitaroo. But in a world where chain-fed machine guns and proton cannons are the standard, gamers just weren't having any of this Gitaroo business. Too bad, it was their loss.
It's over, yeah, that's right. Kiss my room down.
I'm sorry, I won't be bad anymore.
Okay, so if a guitar is not your weapon of choice, perhaps you'd prefer something in a yo-yo. That's what you got in Rygar, the game at number 9. Rygar initially appeared in arcades and wasn't exactly what you'd call a smash hit. By the time it was released for the NES, people just assumed it was going to be more of the same stuff that you got for 25 cents per play. But you know what they say about assuming, right?
I was hooked to the 8-bit Rygar. It's probably one of the most underrated games. And it was a lot different than a lot of the games I had played. It was just very imaginative.
Back then, there were no memory cards, right? So you couldn't save it. It was a long game. So you had to leave the Nintendo on. And the thing became so hot, I can't believe I almost risked burning down my parents' house to play a video game.
The original Rygar, come to think of it, it wasn't nearly as big as some of the other, platformers of the genre, like Castlevania, that sort of thing, but that was a fantastic game.
The one small bummer about Rygar was the fact that there were no passwords or saves. But if you think that's annoying, then try living with the star of our next game. Your choice for the 8th most underrated game of all time is Mr. Mosquito for the PS2. In the role of the winged bloodsucker, your job was to pester a poor Japanese family for an entire summer while stocking up enough plasma to get you through the winter. The unique voyeuristic aspect and great soundtrack make the game a winner, but in the end, Mr. Mosquito flew right over your heads, probably because it was just too damn weird.
Mr. Mosquito, and when this game came out, I actually felt what it would be like to be a mosquito. The game was just so novel and so charismatic, and from that moment on, I have a new respect for mosquitoes.
I think the problem with Mr. Mosquito is that it was way too Japanese. But if it took place in like a trailer park or something like that, I think it would have gone over very well.
There was never really any intention for it to be a mega seller, but it was another one of those games that was released just to kind of say, hey, we're looking out for that one audience that might be looking for a Mosquito game, however many people that is.
It's easy to see how a game about a mosquito could be overlooked. But how about some of those can't-miss games that did miss? We've got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll take a look at some of the more overrated games around, and we'll leave no stone unturned on our quest to crown the most underrated game of all time. Does a Dreamcast fighter have the power to grab the title, or does a bionic soldier reach out and snag it for himself? Find out shortly when Filter returns.
Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson pump up the action in I Spy on DVD with special features that will pump you up. Ow! I Spy. Buy it Tuesday on DVD.
He's still a bad guy, right? I can't keep it straight.
Rated mature.
Pride Fighting Championships is as simple as you versus one man whose only purpose is to paint the canvas with your soul. Pride Fighting Championships. The fight is on PlayStation 2.
Attention all smokers. Now you can kick the habit in just 7 days. That's right, you can quit smoking in only 7 days guaranteed. Introducing the all-natural Smoke Away System, the herbal stop smoking program that works to completely stamp out your nicotine cravings in just 1 week. Smoke Away is easy, safe, and 100% effective or your money back. Fed up with expensive patches, prescriptions, and gums that often don't work? For less than the price of all of them, you can stop smoking in 7 days guaranteed. Over 100,000 people have used the Smoke Away system.
I like the fact that Smoke Away is all natural, and it really works.
I was on the patch for 5 months with absolutely no results. I did Smoke Away for 3 days, and I've been smoke-free ever since.
Smoke Away has added years to my life. I know now I can enjoy my kids growing up and their kids growing up.
Thanks to Smoke Away, we've been smoke-free for 2 years and saved $2,000. Thank you, Smoke Away.
The secret is the unique combination of all natural herbal ingredients that work to completely and naturally eliminate your body's craving for nicotine with no side effects like insomnia, tension, or weight gain. So now you can quit quickly and effortlessly without the agony of withdrawal.
It's safe. It's highly effective. I've had tremendous success with my patients using the Smoke Away program. In fact, I had a patient who had smoked for 25 years and quit in 2 days using the Smoke Away program.
Smoke Away is the only all-natural program that's guaranteed to help you quit smoking in only 7 days, no matter how long you've smoked, no matter how many times you've tried to quit before. It's true. If you started the Smoke Away program today, in 7 days, you could kick the habit 100% guaranteed or your money back. Don't be a slave to smoking anymore. Pick up the phone and order your Smoke Away system now.
To order Smoke Away, call 1-800-259-3568. That's 1-800-259-3568. So call 1-800-259-3568 and order today.
Yeah! Yeah!
Welcome back to Filter. I'm Diane Mizota, counting down the most underrated games of all time. The rankings for Filter shows come directly from the responses you post on the G4 website. To make your vote count, log on to g4tv.com/filter and select the filter rater. Then choose a category, vote on a scale of 1 to 10, and we'll take care of the rest. While you're there, be sure to post your suggestions for topics and games you'd like to see covered in future episodes. After all, Biggin641 posted that he'd like to see a show about underrated games, and here we are. You hear that, Biggin? This one's for you. Next on our countdown is Soul Blazer, a flashy, real-time action RPG that was released in 1992 for the NES. It had great atmosphere, music, and gameplay, and allowed you to explore a ton of new worlds, which explains why Soul Blazer is your choice for game number 7.
Soul Blazer was awesome. Soul Blazer was that was an Enix game. The music was great, the visuals were cool, but it was just, you know, it didn't have a license, and in the time when Final Fantasy and Zelda were really big with audiences, it just didn't make a dent. But if they had given it a chance and played it further, they would have totally fallen in love with it.
Soul Blazer came out in 1992, the same year as The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, a game that cast a pretty big shadow. And keeping with the theme of darkness, let's move on to another game that seems destined to remain in the shadows. Coming in at number 6 is Shadow of Destiny, a mystery game that required you to prevent your death by traveling in time to track down your killer. The ultra-cool premise played out with 5 different endings, but most of you never got that far. In fact, most of you never got to the beginning because you passed on this dialogue-heavy title in favor of some faster-paced games. Well, if you never played it, some of our viewers have a little dialogue of their own to offer up. It's not the first time a cerebral game gets sand kicked in its face. And on that note, why don't we take a look at some of the bullies? Here are a few of the more overrated games around.
The most overrated game, that's easiest. The Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball, I think it's completely overrated. I mean, if people want to see stuff bouncing around, they can go buy a video for way less than $50.
As a game, it's fairly it's not fun to play. It's got all these really bad flaws, and yet, because the game has boobs, it got really high ratings. Undeservedly so.
For me, Metal Gear Solid was really, really hyped out for the PlayStation. When I played it, I just thought it was kind of slow and boring.
Everyone's like, ooh, Metal Gear Solid, ooh, Metal Gear Solid 2. You just shoot your guys, and everyone's like, this is the greatest game in the world, but it's just another game.
Another overrated game, I think, simply because, again, a lot of reviewers fell victim to hype. BMX, XXX.
I was so turned off by the whole let's make an adult game. It was a gimmick, you know, women riding bikes without tops on, and I felt that they skimped a little bit. I think they held back a little bit.
Okay, enough about the overhyped. God knows they've already got their fair share of ink, so let's get back to the world of the underrated. Though our next game was tall on items and weapons, it came up short on props. Bionic Commando was not only a complete departure from the original Commando, but from any type of game around at the time. And you weren't expecting that, were you? Bionic Commando snags its grappling hook into the 5 spot. Hey, if Bionic Commando looked as good as our next game, then there's no way it would have been overlooked. But then that begs the question, how come the mainstream didn't fall in love with Eco? I mean, the textures redefined realistic. The lighting was a shining achievement, and the environments pulled you in like a tractor beam. So what was it then? Were people scared away by the little boy's horns? Or was it because of that strange girl that never let go of your hand and kept talking to you in a language you couldn't understand? Oppa? Oppa?
Eco was really original in the setting, in the visuals, and in the gameplay mechanics. It didn't get the recognition it should have because not many people tried it. A lot of people started the game, couldn't fall in love with the characters, and stopped there.
Eco, after finishing it, I felt more human before playing it. The cleanness of the whole game was very, I thought, intoxicating.
Eco is a very whimsical game. Some people just need a lot of flash bang and, you know, bells and whistles, and this game definitely doesn't have that.
This game was just too spectacular to be overlooked on a countdown of the overlooked. But there are a few we might have missed. We've got to step away for a moment, but when we return, we'll look at a few games that barely missed the countdown. And with only 3 games left in the countdown, we're about to find out the top-rated, underrated game of all time. Is it really possible for a Final Fantasy game to make the countdown? Stick around and find out when Filter returns.
Rated mature.
Pride Fighting Championships is as simple as you versus one man whose only purpose is to paint the canvas with your soul. Pride Fighting Championships. The fight is on PlayStation 2.
Ben Cronin never imagined one moment
It's okay, I want you to.
could change everything.
Tell me you love me. I know what you're doing. No emails, no visits, nothing. I have a girlfriend.
Swimfan. Buy the DVD Tuesday or rent a video.
of technical knockouts, the winner is Iron Mike Tyson.
It was me and my brother. We were playing like to see who was better. So we like stayed up all night until 3 o'clock just seeing who was better. Then my little nephew came, he disconnected everything. We started screaming like, God, no, we didn't even save the game. Then my nephew just went running to his mom and I got mad because we spent all day. My God, no, you little bastard.
Completely aware of what Pokken has been through. I mean, 10 years in the Forest of Fury, that would put anybody on edge.
Disoriented, confused, and haunted by painful memories, Pokken struggles to adapt to his new position as G4 stage manager.
Do you consider yourself a star?
I'm the same girl I've always been.
You don't sound surprised about your popularity.
I've been deeply involved in the gaming community for years. It's where my biscuits buttered, so to speak.
If you could describe yourself in 5 words or less, what would you say?
I fall, I get back up.
That's 6 words, actually.
You're a cheeky one, aren't you?
To Filter, I'm Diane Mizota. We're down to the last 3 spots on our countdown of the most underrated games of all time. But before we move forward, let's take a quick look back for a recap of what we've seen so far. Gitaroo Man killed us softly with his song at number 10. Yo Yo, check it out, Rygar spins up a 9th place finish. If you thought Mr. Mosquito blew, you're wrong, he sucks, and he's number 8. How You Like Me Now, Zelda? Soul Blazer lights up the 7th spot. Shadow of Destiny steps out of the shadows to make an appearance in 6th place. Bionic Commando drops the long arm of justice on evening the score. It latches onto the 5 spot. And Eco proves that it pays to be good looking, salvaging some respect by finishing in 4th. Calling a Final Fantasy game underrated on this show is like saying that my pants are tight. But believe it or not, the Final Fantasy Legend winds up in the number 3 spot. Sound crazy? Well, think about this. Legend came out in 1990 when the franchise was about as popular as Corey Feldman. Plus, it rocked the pea green hues of a Game Boy. Truth is, though, this bite-sized serving of portable RPG action really kicked butt.
Final Fantasy Legends is an underrated game just because it's so old. And it's on Game Boy, the old black and white, no one expected anything from it. But it was so good. I haven't even thought about this game for years, and you're bringing back great memories for me. Like any other Final Fantasy game, you get a small party and you wander around through a humongous, amazingly difficult story, and you get to develop your characters. There's a neat plot going on which you don't totally understand, and the graphics are even good for its age, so that's just a terrific game. Go play that one.
Legend may not have been a hit back in 1990, but it hits hard on today's countdown. The games you're about to see, however, just missed. Here's a look at a few titles that were filtered out. I guess those poor games are destined to be underrated forever. Right now, though, it's time to hand out the top rating to the underrated game you love the most. First up is Vagrant Story from Square. If fans were expecting more of the same from the Final Fantasy makers, they were dead wrong. Because of its unique feel and tricky combat system, Vagrant Story spent more time on the store shelf than at the checkout counter. And even though the Dreamcast has checked out, that still didn't stop you from voting for Power Stone 2. The fighting game took melees to new heights with some all-over-the-place, in-your-face, fast and furious action. Of course, that was also the game's undoing. Some people just thought there was too much action going on, so they backed off. Well, now it's time for one of these titles to back off while the other gets its long overdue due. Vagrant Story takes on Power Stone 2 in another filter face-off.
Power Stone 2, especially Power Stone. I love Power Stone. It was a Dreamcast game. You could move anywhere, and you could jump on buildings, and it was very vibrant, very colorful, just full of energy, and it was cool that it was a multiplayer game.
As a game player like me who's not very good at fighting games, I thought I could have a lot of fun with kind of smashing up the environments and feel that kind of feeling of joy, from just smashing things up and beating the other guy. It's one of my favorite games to play still.
It was really just a fantastic game just to get friends in and just have a weekend night of partying with the games. Very cool.
Vagrant Story was really underrated. It was such a deep gameplay. Graphics were pretty good on it too, even for, just PlayStation 1, and it was released in between all these other really big games, so it just got completely forgotten about.
It's a great looking game, and it offers hours and hours of entertainment.
I played it quite a bit. It was a very vast, expansive kind of a strategy RPG. It was very deep, very complex.
It's different. The art style is very nice. It's a very dark Gothic type game. I enjoyed it very much. I'm actually surprised that there's no sequel in the works. I wish there would be. It's a wonderful game.
So, what was more overlooked, an RPG with a unique control system or a fighting game that was out of control? Both games have reason enough to be the #1 choice. However, the polls are closed, your votes were counted, and your choice for the most underrated game of all time is Vagrant Story. Power Stone 2 may be a fighting game, but I guess Vagrant Story has a little more fight in it. Well, that wraps up this episode of Filter. Remember, the opinions expressed on this show are yours, not mine. So make your vote count on future episodes by logging on to the Filter show page at g4tv.com/filter. Until then, I'm Diane Mizota, and I'll see you next time.